Hello and welcome back to Loud Creations. Today I want to talk about my Lingonberry orange or orange lingonberry mead. I'd say it's equal parts orange and equal parts lingonberry, but so we're going to go with orange lingonberry. And I have already back sweetened this and bottled it, and so I'm just here to talk about how I made it. I have a bottle here that I'm going to be using to taste it at the end. But before I do that, I wanted to go ahead and give an overview of what I did to make this mead. So let's get into it. The ingredients for this include 3 pounds of raw honey, 3 oranges, including some of the zest, 1 cup of dried lingonberries, and of course I used Go Firm pectic enzyme since I'm making this with fruit, and then I used 71B Lalvine yeast and 1 black tea bag for some tannin. So once the water was boiling, I went ahead and added my 1 cup of lingonberries and about 4 strips of orange zest, and then the black tea, and I covered it and turned off the heat and let it steep for 10 to 15 minutes. While the tea was steeping, I went ahead and juiced my 3 oranges directly into the big mouth bubbler that I'm using for this. I removed the tea bag, and then I added my 3 pounds of raw honey, which I then stirred in thoroughly to make sure that it was mixed in well with the tea. And I took a little bit of that out for my Go Firm and added a half a teaspoon of Go Firm to that. I stirred it up and set that aside. I then poured the honey tea mixture into the big mouth bubbler, and I went ahead and left the berries and the orange zest in there to be a part of the fermentation process. Then I added cool water to it to bring the temperature down, but also to bring it up to a full gallon. Once the Go Firm cooled off, I went ahead and added my yeast to create my yeast slurry, and I stirred it up and set that aside to let them wake up. And then as soon as the contents of the big mouth bubbler was down to about body temperature, I added in my half a teaspoon of pectic enzyme. And finally, when the yeast had woken up and things were ready to go, I went ahead and poured that into the big mouth bubbler as well and stirred it up really well again. Want to get a lot of oxygen in there. I took a gravity reading. The original gravity was 1.086. From this point, actually, let me get I have a spreadsheet that I keep all this information in, and of course, I was in a rush to make this video today, and I didn't look at it before I started, so here we are. Okay, so before I bottled, the gravity was down to 1.002, leaving me with an approximately 11% ABV, and I added another 1/3 cup of orange juice into secondary and about 2 or 3 ounces of honey to sweeten it a little bit more. And then I pasteurized so that the yeast would not become active again. I wanted to keep it where it was at. I didn't want a really high alcohol volume for this one. After I pasteurized, I decided I wanted to add more lingonberries. So I added another half a cup of lingonberries and I put it into secondary, and I forgot about it for a while. So they might have been in there a little too long. I don't know. I racked it again, and then I decided I wanted to add some oak to this. So then I added oak. And I let the oak stay in there maybe for a couple weeks, and then I racked it off of that and bottled. And here we are. We're here with the end result. Whoops. So we're here with the end result. I have a bottle. This is only, I want to say, about 3 months in, so it's not super aged. I'm hoping to come back with maybe a 1-year video on this one. I just saw a lot when I was looking up different recipes for lingonberries, because I have a giant bag of dried lingonberries. I mean, you can put them on cereal and all kinds of stuff, but I wanted to make something. I noticed that orange and lingonberry seem to pair well together, so I have high hopes for this one. Let's see how it tastes. Well, first off, if you can see there, it has a beautiful color. It's like a peach color. It's very clear, crystal clear. And right off the bat, I can smell the orange. I don't really know what lingonberries smell like. I want to say like cranberry. I'm not really picking that up, but there is a different scent here that is good. I'm going to go ahead and taste it, see how it is. It's good. I think it definitely needs to age more. There's something, it could be because I left the lingonberries in there for like, it might have been 3 weeks. It was long. I forgot about them. I don't know. Let me taste it again. I can taste the oak. The oak is really, it definitely gives it some more depth of flavor, but it's very subtle. I really feel like the orange is the flavor that's up front in this. I can't really make out the lingonberries, oddly, considering how long I left them in secondary. It's really smooth. It doesn't burn going down. I have a feeling within a year, this will probably taste pretty good. I don't know what I would do different, just because it's only 2-3 months old. I'm not getting a really accurate gauge on the flavor here. My guess is it will be pretty darn tasty by the time it gets to a year, if I make it that long. I can smell the honey as well. Yeah, the more sips I have, the more there's kind of an aftertaste to it. And I don't know if that's just because of the youth, it's a youngin', or if it's because I left the lingonberries in too long or what, but there's like I don't know if it's bitter. It's hard to describe. There's just an aftertaste. It's a little strange. So I don't want to say this is the best recipe ever, because as it is right now, it's drinkable, but it's not entirely enjoyable to me just because of that aftertaste. It just tastes young. So there it is. I did this one on a whim and didn't really have much of a plan for it. So considering that, although that's kind of how I do all mine. I write out my recipes for the most part. This one I didn't. And I just kind of winged it. So considering that, I'd say it turned out pretty darn good. Anyway, I hope this video is useful, and I will see you next time. Thank you.